am reacting to your wrestling hot takes. I do these videos once a week, so if you want to be part of next week's hot takes video, make sure that you're following me on X. The link is in the description of this video. I ask for your hot takes on there every single Thursday. By the way, I'm releasing this video on Christmas Eve, so Merry Christmas if you celebrate it. If you don't, then have a good day. Hey, as always, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for notifications. If you're a wrestling fan, I know you're gonna fall in love with this channel because we upload daily wrestling content. And if daily wrestling content isn't enough, then consider checking out patreon.com/SantiZap, where you're gonna get even more content from me to you about wrestling. You're gonna get my Raw reviews, my Smackdown reviews, and you're gonna get the Wrestling is Cool podcast 3 days earlier than everyone else, only accessible on Patreon. Again, that's patreon.com/SantiZap. Go check it out, the link in the description or the very top pinned comment. And now, let's read some stupid shit. Ever since CM Punk came back, Cody Rhodes doesn't feel important. Look at the ratings. I don't know what the hell the ratings have to do with Cody Rhodes not feeling as special because CM Punk is there, considering they're on the same show. So if the ratings are low, we can't really pinpoint as to whether it's because of Cody or because of CM Punk. I don't know. I don't know what the hell this has to do with any of it. But I take your point about CM Punk now clogging up that main event scene. I feel like if anything, there's other people that are going to take a hit, and I don't think that that person is Cody Rhodes because their narratives are just so completely different and they are on opposite polar ends of the scale at the moment. Their stories are not going to clash probably for a very long time. CM Punk has a narrative that has his eyes dead set on Seth Rollins, while Cody Rhodes is most likely gunning after Roman Reigns. I just don't think that those two stories are going to intertwine, which means I don't think that any one story is going to take precedent over the other. So I think the WWE is big enough in the main event scene, especially on Monday Night Raw, to be able to feed both of them. I think they're going to be fine. Sasha Banks would be the most powerful and beneficial re-signing WWE will ever make. I just don't think that that's right in any way, shape, or form, considering WWE just made one of these super powerful, super beneficial re-signings to the WWE in CM Punk. CM Punk is a known merch seller. He can sell TV rights deals. He did it for AEW, and now they're leveraging him to sell Raw to whatever brand is willing to pony up a few $1 billion. I just don't think that Sasha Banks has that power. That being said, she can be the trailblazer to be the very first super marquee women's free agent signing that the WWE has really made. Because if you look at like the landscape of WWE women's wrestling, for the most part, they're really tippity top players. The Sasha Banks of the world, the Rhea Ripleys, the Becky Lynches, the Charlotte Flairs, the Baileys, those are all names that WWE has grown from the ground up. And yes, Sasha Banks was one of those people that they brought up. They eventually lost her, but for the most part, WWE has been able to just utilize women that they themselves have built. They've never really truly splashed on the market for a female wrestler. And Sasha Banks can be that barometer that sets the pace for what women's free agency is going to look like in the world of professional wrestling. So I do think that this signing is ultimately going to end up being really important for women's free agents moving forward. Cody Rhodes is tiptoeing the line of being a mid-card guy. All right, we don't need to just completely shit on Cody Rhodes this entire episode. What is going on? The Cody Rhodes hate is coming out of left field today. Look, I get it. He's feuding with Shinsuke Nakamura. That's not the tribal chief Roman Reigns. That's not Seth Rollins. That's not this perennial main event guy. But Shinsuke Nakamura has done a great job in the year to make himself be a viable side feud for somebody like Cody Rhodes. This is a major feud for Nakamura, but a good side quest for Cody Rhodes. I don't think that this is like a sign of Cody Rhodes and now only being a mid-card guy and only feuding with guys of the star power and caliber of Nakamura. It's just a side quest. He's gonna go back to the main event scene. He still has unfinished business with Seth Rollins, with Roman Reigns, and eventually CM Punk, Randy Orton. There's a lot left for Cody Rhodes, but in the landscape of WWE today, where the WWE likes to move a little bit slower, they don't like to rush things, they just don't like to blow their wad right away, it's gonna take a while for Cody Rhodes to re-find that main event star quality feud that he had with Brock Lesnar earlier this year. I need Logan Paul versus Bad Bunny in 2024. I think that this would be cool, but I just don't see how this benefits anyone aside from Logan Paul. This would be huge for Logan Paul. That's a guy that lives in a creator economy where the currency is attention and eyeballs, and feuding with the biggest superstar on the planet in terms of music and in the world of Latin America, that would bring him a few eyeballs. However, for Bad Bunny, this is not about making money. It's not about gaining eyeballs. He's already way more famous than anyone is in the landscape of WWE today. Bad Bunny does this because he loves professional wrestling. He loves the history of it. It's a huge part of Puerto Rican culture, and I just don't think that he's gonna want to spend his time, his limited time in WWE, to wrestle also a non-full-time professional wrestler in Logan Paul. Plus, Logan Paul just has a lot of baggage outside of the WWE that I just wouldn't be surprised if Bad Bunny's PR team's like, no, this is just bad publicity for Bad Bunny. Again, I'd love to see it. I just don't see a realistic world where it does. I have the utmost respect for him, and I do like him, but Edge never really clicked for me. Look, I get it. I've had those guys where they don't really click for me either, but like you, I also do respect and acknowledge that I'm a one-off. I'm not the rule, I'm the exception. And I think that you are the exception for Edge, because for the most part, most people do love him and he has clicked for them. I have those myself, like when Chris Benoit was at the top of his game, World Heavyweight Champion. He never really clicked for me. Rob Van Dam never really clicked for me. So I have those as well, but I love the way that you worded it, that you do have the respect for him and you do have some admiration for the guy, but I understand. 2023 was the best year for wrestling in years. Almost every pay-per-view has been an A-tier show, and we've had amazing storylines and returns this year. With moments we got this year, it makes me beyond excited for 2024. I do feel like AEW had a bit of a dip year in terms of their excitement and their cool factor. They just weren't really clicking on all cylinders this year. However, the WWE, I have to agree with you, did have their best year that I've ever been able to witness as a wrestling fan, and I've been watching since 2002. What's interesting is that this year could have been so much better had Vince McMahon not come back for that 3-month stretch where you didn't know whether it was Vince making the decisions, scripts were getting ripped up. That's why the Raw after Mania was terrible, why the lead up to SummerSlam wasn't fantastic. So it could have been better. There was a lot of room for improvement. So I'm excited for 2024 because it's going to be the first year where Triple H is 150% behind the helm. All of his decisions are going to be his. They're not going to be poisoned by Vince McMahon, and I'm hoping that that's going to lead to not just another great year in wrestling, but an even better 2024 than 2023. And that's a high bar because 2023 was freaking amazing. R-Truth is really underrated. We all know he's one of the greatest comedy wrestlers, but a lot of people forget his run in TNA when he was world champion and portrayed a serious, cool, angry main event character. He's shown that he's able to portray a wide range of characters. Yeah, a lot of people don't realize that R-Truth has been going since the 90s. This man was part of the Attitude Era, and he was part of TNA's rise, and of course he's been with the WWE for a very long time now. But yeah, R-Truth definitely has a tremendous amount of range. I do think that he is in the best spot he could possibly be in right now as a 50-year-old wrestler. We don't have too many active 50-year-old wrestlers, so for him to work a significantly much lighter schedule where he isn't having grueling 20+ minute matches is probably a great spot for him to be. But a lot of people forget that The Rock's first match back in the WWE had R-Truth at Survivor Series. I think it was 2011, 2012. Those years kind of get mixed up for me, but it was John Cena and The Rock taking on R-Truth and The Miz. And R-Truth was also in a main event program where he was the main event of a PLE at Capital Punishment, which was right before the Summer of Punk began. So WWE has trusted R-Truth in that major main event spot as well, not just TNA. But yeah, if this is an R-Truth appreciation post, I'm with it, because R-Truth is amazing and he's just too damn good to not appreciate. If LA Knight wins the US Championship, he will make the title feel prestigious again, the same way Gunther did it with the Intercontinental title. Well, that depends, okay? Because Gunther's prestige of the Intercontinental Championship wasn't because he won it, it was because he made it prestigious. So LA Knight has a long road to go through if he wants to make the United States Championship as prestigious as the Intercontinental title. Gunther made that title prestigious by consistently making that title be part of the best match of the night. he made it must-watch television by consistently delivering 5-star match after 5-star match after 5-star match. So I think that trying to put that pressure on LA Knight to bring the US title to that same level of prestige as the Intercontinental Championship is gonna be maybe a little bit too daunting. But that's okay. Like, it doesn't have to be Gunther level for it to be a good title reign. We have to remember that Gunther's title reign is one that hasn't been seen for like 30 years. LA Knight could have a very good run as a US champion that doesn't need to go for over 365 days. We can go back to the life cycle of 6-month champions. That's okay too, and it can still be a great run. We don't have to compare it to the greatest runs of all time. I think that the entire idea of Roman beating Hogan's record is incredibly overrated when he only shows up 11 times a year. If we had our weekly champion, I might care more, but honestly, he should drop the title at WrestleMania 40 so he can finally see something different. Look, you are right. Inherently, you are right. Those records don't matter. They are artificial records that genuinely mean nothing. They are the decisions of higher ups and not the decisions of wrestlers. That's just the nature of scripted television. So I will not fault you or anyone else for not caring about him breaking Hogan's record, because it's just this imaginary thing that the WWE themselves has determined is important, and they're trying to fabricate and sell that illusion to all of us that these records are important. Now, I am a hardcore WWE wrestling fan, therefore their little brainwashing of these records mattering has worked on me. I care about these records, damn it. So when I look at things from a realistic point of view, I 100% agree with you. But when I turn on my wrestling brain and I want to be like just this wrestling fan, I care. I would love to see the record of Hulk Hogan being beaten. Cody cannot carry the burden of the Universal Championship, and it should be CM Punk who beats Roman. So if I were to have a conversation with you, I would like to ask you, what do you mean by carrying the burden? Because are you saying that Cody doesn't have enough star power to be the one to carry the championship after Roman Reigns held it for 1,200 days? If that's the case, I disagree with you. I absolutely think that the top babyface in the company can definitely be the guy who can dethrone the top heel in the company. It's just how it's worked for the past 50 years of professional wrestling. It's a proven formula, and Cody Rhodes will definitely be able to step up to the plate and be the face and be the champion of the WWE, should that be the decision that the WWE decides to take. Now, an argument that I've been seeing lately is that, well, Cody's story just won't be anywhere near as good as the Bloodline or last anywhere near as long. And my answer to that is, so what? Who cares that Cody's story when he's champion isn't as good as the greatest storyline in professional wrestling history in the Bloodline? Cody's story is Cody's story. It doesn't have to be a story that takes 3 years to tell. It can be a story that's 6 months, 8 months, 9 months, and it can be just a encapsulated in a vacuum storyline that, again, doesn't have to stretch out through the fabrics of times and space like the Bloodline storyline has. Again, that's a formula that's worked in professional wrestling for a long time. The Bloodline just kind of went past those rules and those boundaries and created something else, something different entirely. But let's not forget about what's worked in the past before, where we can have cohesive, shorter storylines that tell a great story of a championship reign. The WrestleMania Night 1 and Night 2 main event should always be the matches of the Royal Rumble winners. Look, I don't necessarily disagree with this. I actually think that this is pretty good. However, I'm a believer that the most hype match should go at the end of the show, like the match that people are clamoring the most to see. I think the solution is to just make sure that the Royal Rumble winners get given narratives and stories that make us want to root for them so much that they become part of the most hype narrative and the most hype storyline leading into WrestleMania, so that both the Royal Rumble winner and the most hype storyline goes on at the end. Rhea Ripley hasn't had any real competition. I don't want her to drop the title at Mania, but I feel like she will. So here's what's interesting. I agree, but also disagree with you. I do agree that she hasn't gone up against the most elite of the women's division across the WWE. She hasn't refaced Charlotte Flair, Bianca Bianca Belair. She hasn't gone up against Asuka, Bayley, and she hasn't gone up against Becky Lynch. However, she has gone up against some formidable women. She's gone up against Zoe Stark. She's gone up against Shayna Baszler, against Nia Jax. She's gone up against Raquel Rodriguez. So she does have a Rolodex of women that she's gone up against. Now, you say that she hasn't had any real competition. I would change that narrative, and I would say that Rhea Ripley is just so much more bigger and larger than life than those women that she's faced off against, that she's made them look like they're not competition, but I think in reality they are. Look at Raquel Rodriguez. Raquel Rodriguez is arguably bigger and stronger than Rhea Ripley. However, in terms of like grandioseness and overall aura, she gets dwarfed by Rhea Ripley. So I just don't think that it's that she hasn't had competition. It's that she makes the competition that she has feel lesser than, because she's such a huge character at the moment. Besides Randy, Cody, and maybe CM Punk, Roman has no legitimate contenders left. No legitimate contenders as of the making of this video, but you can always build contenders to make them feel special. Look at LA Knight. LA Knight it literally came out of nowhere, and WWE helped continue to build his rise to make him into a legitimate contender to Roman Reigns. You can totally do this again with a Bobby Lashley, maybe even like a Karrion Kross who's getting this like new rebranding. You could do this with several guys to make them feel like legitimate threats to Roman Reigns. Like, dude, let's not forget that Sami Zayn was at one point the biggest threat to Roman Reigns, and the year prior he was feuding with Johnny Knoxville. You can build people to make them feel special and make them feel main event worthy. SmackDown has been slightly better than Raw in recent weeks. Wow, what a hot take. Thank you so much for sending that in. Thank you. That really, wow, that was so hot it literally melted me. Thank you. That was the hottest hot take ever. That SmackDown's slightly better than Raw. Guys, hot takes, not these like lukewarm, cold things, okay? I don't like this. The Maximum Male models will be the biggest breakout stars of everyone released. This is cool, and I like the fact that you called this out, because I'm starting to agree with this. And I don't think it's because they were like the biggest stars out of everybody that was released, but I think it's because they've done such a great job of building their brand while they were off of television through their Twitch channel and through Twitter. They've just done such a great job of keeping their finger on the pulse while they were off screen and not wrestling. Their Twitch channel is fantastic. Their shenanigans on Twitter are a lot of fun, and it's made them, to me, must follow wrestlers to see what they do next. Again, it's all off the back of what they did to continue to build their brand and continue to make themselves relevant in a time where it's really easy to just sit back and do nothing. So shout out to Mansoor, and I don't know if he goes by Mace. What was he going? Mason D-Mat? Shinsuke's theme with lyrics is better, and he should bring it back. No, don't. No, Shinsuke's theme is perfect as it is. I didn't hate the lyrics, okay? But like, it was an attempt to try and make something already perfect better, and that's like impossible. How do you make infinity bigger than infinity? That's basically what they were trying to do. Shinsuke's theme is already an all-timer. Don't touch it, leave it alone. Wade Barrett deserved to win the WWE Championship. Did he? I don't know, man. Like, I think it would have been nice. Would he have done something with it? I don't think so. I just don't think that Wade Barrett was just one WWE championship away from becoming this like everlasting megastar. I think that Wade Barrett's career went the way that it did, and it would have gone the exact same whether or not you give him a WWE championship when he was hot with the Nexus. R-Truth deserves a world title, even if it's just for 2 weeks. 2 weeks? Are you fucking dumb? How about 2 years? Give R-Truth a longer reign than Bruno Sammartino. Do it. Book it, Vince. I know you're still around somewhere in the background, you know, puppeteering things. Oh, such good shit. Give R-Truth a 5-year long reign. Yeah, do it, Vince. Damian Priest having the Money in the Bank briefcase has been really boring, and I feel will be wasted. I don't think it was boring throughout the summer. I think like it was a pretty common narrative to have him, you know, do Fugazi cash-ins, and like we had like the whole thing of like the Three Stooges of Dom, Finn, and Damian accidentally costing each other matches because of the briefcase. So at the very least, they were using him as a Money in the Bank holder and using him as part of like stories and using that as part of the narrative. I think the problem right now is that that main event picture is so murky, so crowded right now with the return of CM Punk that I don't know when it logically makes sense for this guy to cash in. I'm starting to believe that he's gonna fail his cash in. The championship scramble match is one of the best match stipulations ever created. You know what's interesting? Long ago, back when they originally created this stipulation, I hated it. I did not like it. However, as time has passed and I've matured, and I watched NXT Deadline and they did the Iron Survivor matches for both the men's and the women's. God damn, that shit was hype, and it gave a lot of vibes of the championship scramble. So after watching the Iron Survivor match, you know, I'd be down to see the return of the scramble, or maybe seeing the main roster give a chance at the Iron Survivor match type. AEW is a WWE retirement home for real. Bro, like, why try and be like so negative with this? Like, is it a bad thing that people that get older, that have a harder time finding jobs, for them to find a viable job somewhere else in AEW? Like, I just don't think that that's a bad thing. I think the problem sometimes with AEW is that they take these really old guys and give them like way too prominent roles on screen, which takes time away, both on screen and in-ring time away, from the younger guys that are gonna be the future of your company for a long time. That's my problem with AEW and their usage of older guys that come from the WWE. That I think is the inherent problem. But I love the fact that these guys are able to go somewhere else and continue their career in the twilight of their career. All right, that's it. Those are my hot takes. Again, if you were watching this, you know, like during Christmas season, Christmas time, Merry Kringle, Merry Chrysler, Merry Christmas. Thank you so much for watching me throughout the holidays. Take care, be good people, get out of here.